And hello everyone, welcome back to the mid-season showdown here at Second Server Collectibles for your Gym Challenge New Year's Marathon. My name is Jesus Cornell, alongside me is Joe Matisse, and we have our final round here. We have, I think you want to call this a friendly rivalry in the SoCal scene between Abhyu, Vatsavai, and Arnie Wolf.
Yeah, there's some pretty interesting teams here, particularly on Abhyu's side. We're going to see a Pokemon that we haven't seen all day, is Clefairy. Clefairy is a really good support Pokemon. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it makes your Pokemon survive a little longer, and in particular, Helping Hand and Follow Me give it a lot of abilities to help the Pokemon in the slot next to it survive, or do the damage that they want to do without taking damage from other Pokemon.
And speaking of unseen Pokemon, we have another unique Pokemon from Arnie's side as well. We have the Galarian Articuno from him, interestingly enough. And I got a little interview from him earlier. He says that he has the Galarian Articuno for Intimidate.
Yeah, Competitive is a pretty useful ability. I have a feeling we're going to see even more of it with a few Pokemon with Competitive coming in Regulation F, and of course Incineroar being everywhere with Intimidate. But we get a little preview of that with Competitive. It has the some good moves there: Freezing Glare, Terra Blast. Let's do some pretty interesting things. Let's see what Pokemon they decide to start with.
Yeah, to give a full-on disclosure between these two teams, it is Ogerpon, Heartflame for for Abhyu on the screen here is gonna be Ogerpon, Heartflame, Tornadus Incarnate, Clefairy, Kingambit, Urshifu, Rapid Strike, and Iron Hands. For Arnie, he has Roaring Moon, Hisuian Arcanine, Goldango, Ogerpon Wellspring, Galarian Articuno, and Iron Hands.
Yeah, you don't see any Intimidate on Abhyu's side, so that Competitive is not going to be kicked off. I do probably a move or two. Bleakwind Storm, for example, might set it off. Speed drop. But we'll see if that Galarian Articuno comes out, or if the lack of Intimidate Mon means that Arnie decides to go with something a little more offensive.
I mean, the Freezing Glare should be doing good damage to Urshifu and Iron Hands. It's more so like, what can it do otherwise? Because it's walled by Kingambit, unless it goes Terra Ground with the Terra Blast, which we can see on our screens here. But this was a popular team that Jamie Boyd developed in Europe during his nearly top 8 regional run.
Yeah, and we'll see. We see that Abhyu's locking in some the Clefairy at the beginning there. We'll get to see that right away.
Yeah, Clefairy, an interesting Pokemon. It nearly won San Antonio Regionals. Of course, Giovanni Costa won the regional there. Both team players locked in. But Clefairy, an interesting Pokemon. You know, not meant to be an offensive threat. You know, meant to be the redirected with Follow Me and Neefeel Light. Plus, it has Friend Guard. Should have to have his teammates take some hits.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how aggressive this Kingambit is here with Clefairy next to it. Of course, that'll depend on what Arnie brings. We'll get into it and see what those starting Pokemon are right now.
So here we go. Arnie's going to start this battle off with the Roaring Moon and Iron Hands lead. And for Abhyu, it's Clefairy Kingambit.
Yeah, obviously.
And Booster Energy going to activate her Roaring Moon here, and it will be the Speed Booster.
Yeah, so obviously Roaring Moon might be sitting Tailwind here, we'll see. And Clefairy here is just going to jump right into things with Moonblast instead of doing its usual Helping Hand, Follow Me type stuff. But that's because Kingambit's going to be protecting.
Yeah, you really want to be protecting in front of an Iron Hands because Drain Punch is a quad effective move to a Pokemon like Kingambit, and especially given how slow it is. Doesn't want to be taking any part of that damage.
And also, we're going to skip the Fake Out, of course.
Oh, that's actually really good to consider. Knockout going to knock on the Clefairy. Gets a critical hit. Kind of matters, but now the Eviolite's gone for the Clefairy. Oh my god, does that fumble up to the Clefairy, and down it goes in one hit. Didn't even get the Moonblast.
Yeah, dropping that Eviolite really hurt a lot there for Clefairy, because that Eviolite gives it the big boost to the defense. So Iron Hands was able to get the knockout with the heavy slam. No, and I don't think that crit mattered, but
I mean, we thought it was heavy sling going to Clefairy after the knockoff. Definitely did not matter afterward. Yeah. Kingambit, I don't know. I feel like you're forced to go for Terra Dragon with that Kingambit because without it, you fall to a Drain Punch, and then you also have to worry about potential Breaking Strike. Like, yeah, that might activate Defiant, but you're only going to +1 boost instead of +2.
Yeah, although it looks like he's thinking about doing the Terra Water Surging Strikes here. Choice. Not a whole lot Kingambit can do here if it doesn't Terra. say it's probably not going to survive. Surging Strikes is going to do a lot of damage here, although Close Combat honestly would do quite a bit too, I think. And it looks like he changed his mind. Let's see whether that Terra is going to be enough to survive the round.
And see, the Terra is King Gambit to Dragon, which is another one of those popular types that's been popping up in usage. Because, well, Ogre Pond is probably one of your biggest reasons why you're going Terra Dragon.
Yeah, it resists that Fire, Water, Grass combination. Obviously, that's not going to go anywhere with the introduction of things like Incineroar, which again are yet more fire in the meta. Does, of course, mean that Surging Strikes isn't doing quite as much as Iron Hands, and we'll see if Iron Hands comes out with a
Drain Punch, and it is going to hit. At least it's not doing half this time, thanks to the Terra Dragon. We did see the Surging Strikes do half to Iron Hands, though, so that's probably something hopeful for Abhyu at this point. And Kowtow Queef puts it down to 50%.
Yeah, I was a little curious if Wild Chargers would come out from Iron Hands there, but it did not.
Kind of makes sense why it didn't come out in that situation, because Tailwind was not set up the last turn.
That is true. We got see if he can get a turn of Swords Dance off from King Gambit.
Arnie gonna withdraw the Iron Hands in this situation. Breaking Swipe might, I think it might do enough damage to put the King Gambit towards the red, maybe. But instead we're just seeing a knockoff here, and it's gonna knock off the Black Glasses. So Dark type moves will get a reduction in power, and Surging Strike's not gonna work on a Water Absorb Ogerpon. But the Swords Dance at least gets set up.
Yeah, so now King Gambit does get to do some damage if it is able to attack before it's knocked out. Of course, the Tailwind, that seems unlikely.
Yeah, it's only hope is Sucker Punch, but Ogerpon can easily redirect it with a Follow Me, that would just make it fail straight up.
Yeah. Other option here is, of course, Protect and see if the Urshifu's Close Combat can take care of the Roaring Moon.
Or if it does enough damage. Oh my god, it actually got the Sucker Punch off, and just not enough to knock at the Ogerpon. The Black Glasses getting off was detrimental at that point. Breaking Swipe, not enough to knock out the King Gambit, but does minimal damage to the Urshifu. It is a Defiant boost for the King Gambit, but I don't know if it's surviving the turn.
Probably not.
Oh, it is going to survive the turn. Urshifu goes down to the Horn Leech.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a cherry that Abhyu wants to make there, because that means he doesn't get the Close Combat off on the Roaring Moon. Unfortunately. But he does get a Sucker Punch next turn with King Gambit.
And Tornadus is the last Pokemon for Abhyu, and it is holding that Rocky Helmet, so physical type contact moves will hurt the Pokemon that will use them, but given the situation, I think King Gambit would rather have more HP right now, because I don't know if Sucker Punch is going to be knocking out anything. I mean, it might knock out the Ogerpon, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be using Follow Me this turn, and it is.
Yeah, we'll see if Bleak Wind Storm takes care of it, but I don't think so.
Sucker Punch is going to fail.
Yeah.
What's going to go on here? It's going to be Breaking Swipe, going to knock out the King Gambit, and Tornadus now has to deal with the fact that it has to knock out so many Pokemon on its own. Roaring Moon does take a bit of Rocky Helmet damage, but can this Bleak Wind Storm connect?
Bleak Wind Storm, accuracy-wise, not the best.
It does double connect.
Does get the connection.
Does knock out the Ogerpon, but that's not promising damage to the Roaring Moon.
Yeah, it really needed the Bleak Wind Storm to go before the Sucker Punch, and unfortunately, it doesn't get to work that bad.
No, especially with that Follow Me coming out. That's Tailwind gone,
Yep.
but that just means Iron Hands just come back to play.
Yeah, Iron Hands definitely appreciates coming back here.
Oh, it's going to be Arcanine for Arnie, so that's all four of his Pokemon revealed, but I think in this position, I think Arnie's just in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean, Arnie can push Extreme Speed here, I imagine. Make sure he gets that hit off. Abhyu's being Tailwind, an interesting choice. So sure, that's going to be enough. Maybe the Abhyu's is sort of curious to see for Game 2 what Arnie does.
Well, that's a Rocky Helmet going to be knocked off, and Flare Blitz is showing that it's faster than this Tornadus, and that's Game 1 Arnie. Pretty convincingly as well.
Yeah, I was curious to see what Abhyu does here to come back from that. That was a pretty dominant performance by Arnie there. I'm curious to see if we see anything different next game, particularly if we get to see Clefairy actually do anything.
Yeah, because that turn 1 actually I think was the deciding factor, because I understand that Abhyu was scared to get hit by a Drain Punch, but Arnie read that perfectly and just double targeted the Clefairy, and the fact that it was gone the moment it went down, that the moment that King Gambit wasn't able to get anything going from that Protect, just everything just spiraled out of control from that point.
Yeah, no, that was a really good read by Arnie that turn 1. We'll see if we get to see the same thing happen this game. Obviously, you could lead Clefairy again and see what happens. I don't know. What do you think Abhyu can do about it if they do both have the same leads?
Well, they have the same leads of Roaring Moon Iron Hands. I think you need to at least be careful with this King Gambit. I think you might have to Terra early with the King Gambit just to make sure that Clefairy can survive, or at least doesn't fall victim to a double target.
Yeah, obviously, it looks like he is starting those same 2 Pokemon. So we'll see whether he's able to do that. He's got possibility of tearing the Clefairy too, maybe, but I don't know that would be the greatest idea with all the...
I mean, it is Terra Grass on the Clefairy, but I'm not sure how that really helps against most of Arnie's Pokemon. It might help against Ogerpon, but that's about it.
Yeah, there's too much other stuff going on, especially Arcanine and Flare Blitz would make short work of that. So if he does knock off early, I think Clefairy is going to have a very hard time.
I actually find it interesting that you talk about Incineroar against Articuno, because Galarian Articuno, this was specifically a Terra Blast ground, which with Terra Blast ground, it does hit super effectively into Incineroar, which means it can get punished.
Yeah, and Terra Ground is going to be a lot more common, I think, in the next regulation. I know we've got a Terra Ground Pokemon on the team that Jacob and I are looking at. For sure, because that Incineroar and a couple other Mon that the ground is pretty good into.
Just saying, but Landorus Incarnate also looks pretty good into those Pokemon.
It does, yeah. Landorus Incarnate is going to be a pretty popular Pokemon, I think. Probably more so than Landorus Therian, because you don't need the Intimidate anymore. You've got Incineroar to take care of that. So, you can use the Sincere Storm from the Landorus Incarnate. That can do a lot of damage.
Here we go, game number 2. Arnie gonna lead Iron Hands Goldango this time, no Roaring Moon. And Abhyu gonna lead King Gambit and Clefairy once again. Now this gets interesting because I think Make It Rain could just knock out the Clefairy here, and I kind of do agree with Abhyu. You gotta Terra Dragon here immediately just to make sure you don't get hit by Super Effective Drain Punch.
Yeah, I mean, Clefairy can't do a whole lot about redirecting Make It Rain since it's a double target move. So let's see if they do at least try to redirect the Drain Punch, or if they... it looks like he might use the Blast. I almost wonder about Protect here maybe from Clefairy, if thinking that King Gambit's just going to take care of things.
They should be able to knock up the Goldango at the very least because of the Dark type. I mean, that is unless the Goldango goes for its Terrestrialization, obviously.
And it looks like he does protect the Clefairy, so he is worried about the Make It Rain.
I mean, you gotta worry about the Drain Punch, is why he's Terrestrializing his King Gambit to steal the Dragon right now.
Yep. And Dragon King Gambit isn't too worried about Make It Rain. We'll see what Iron Hands could fake out too, so another possibility to just delay the King Gambit for a turn.
Iron Hands goes for the fake out this time, not a Drain Punch, and King Gambit not gonna get suppressed. Oh, that's a big punish there for Abhyu, and Arnie gets off a free nasty plot.
Yeah, that Goldango is now +2, and that is going to hurt a lot when it makes your turn. And Clefairy probably can't protect again.
Probably can't, but Goldango now has a lot of damage coming in here. Terra Steel, Make It Rain with the Life Orb. It could just mean that we could see the end of the game pretty quickly.
Yeah, we'll see whether the Terra's the Goldango or not. Obviously, Sucker Punch is a concern if he doesn't, so I wouldn't be surprised to see a Terra Steel here from the Goldango. In addition to boosting it, so actually the defensive Terra. Same time.
Yes, it is. Isn't that the wonderful thing of Terrestrialization? Am I right?
That is. I'm really curious if we're going to see Stellar Terra very much.
Iron Hand's going to switch out here for Arnie. Going to send in the Ogerpon just in case something did go into the slot. And Arnie does Terra Steel with the Goldango.
Yeah. King Gambit here doesn't have too much it can do about that. Sucker Punch isn't going to do a whole lot of damage now, and that +2 Make It Rain is going to hurt a lot.
And that, I mean, it should knock out both these Pokemon right now. Clefairy tries to go for the Helping Hand. Maybe that'll supplement the Sucker Punch from the Black Glasses. Let's see if it does enough to knock it out. I don't think it will. Yeah!
That's a big Sucker Punch, though, I will say. I'm impressed by how much damage that did.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this Make It Rain is going to be even more impressive with this double knockout.
Yep. That's 2 Pokemon down and 2 to go. And it's still +1.
Yes, it is, and I don't know if Abhyu's Pokemon can even deal with this menace that is the Goldango, especially with this Ogerpon now having Follow Me support.
Yeah, I think the Ogerpon, in addition to Follow Me, it's interesting because obviously one of the more dangerous things that Abhyu could have brought is the Rapid Strike Urshifu, and Ogerpon sort of locks that down. Now, he didn't bring it this time, so...
I mean, we do see the Ogerpon Hearthflame this time for Abhyu, but it's also a Tornadus. I don't know how much damage Ivy Cudgel's doing to his Ogerpon, because I have to assume Follow Me is going to be coming in here.
Yeah, I don't know how they do any damage to the Goldengo. Like, I mean, Bleakwind Storm is going to do some, but I don't think it knocks it out.
Spiky Shield, oh my goodness, this could be a big punish if this is red by the Ogerpon here. Spiky Shield. Or, oh, it is going to be red. There is no protect from this Goldengo. Down it goes to the Ivy Cudgel.
That was an interesting choice. I feel like Arnie was in the driver's seat here if he just clicks follow me.
I'm pretty sure that means he was worried about Bleakwind Storm. I have to think, and yet that is what comes up for this Tornadus. I don't think Abhyu's gone from this game just yet, but you know, Iron Hand still looks concerning.
Yeah, I mean, Arnie probably knows the damage calcs way better than I do, so Bleakwind Storm.
Oh, and Roaring Moon in the back as well, so that's more attack support with the breaking swipes.
Yeah, let's see. So we've got those two plus Iron Hands on Arnie's side, just the Tornadus and the Ogerpon on Abhyu's side. Can't switch out anymore, so breaking swipe, attack drops, and Ogerpon stick.
Yes, they will. Thanks to the booster energy speed, Ogerpon, it has no means of touching the super effective move on Roaring Moon at all, and that's just concerning here. And Ivy Cudgel, now it's super effective against this Ogerpon. No, wait, no, it's neutral, but it's still doing a whole lot of damage. And here comes another bonk. That one's doing less.
Yeah, I think the
Bleakwind Storm
will do a lot though.
Yeah, it will be. It will knock the Ogerpon at the very least. Roaring Moon will take it very well.
Yeah.
And no speed drop incoming.
But Arnie has Tailwind here. Abhyu doesn't, although Abhyu could set it up, but that would be at the cost of a Bleakwind Storm. And with Iron Hands coming in, he gets to fake something out, which might be pretty nice on that Ogerpon. Tornadus is protecting and Ogerpon spiky shielding, so they're just assuming fake out's coming in, I guess.
Yeah, the Tailwind. No, we know Tornadus is just going to protect, so it would be a double protect here to combat this fake out at least.
Yeah, it seems like the obvious choice here. It does give take one turn of Arnie's Tailwind away also, which is nice, and Abhyu can still set up Tailwind next turn if he wants to, since we've got Prankster. But I think we're going to see, I don't know, knockoff or breaking swipe again. You know, breaking swipe could do a lot to that Ogerpon.
Important to note that the breaking swipe still did damage to the Roaring Moon for the spiky shield, so that might come up if Bleakwind Storm manages to do enough damage, but I don't see a situation where Ogerpon's going to be able to outspeed this Roaring Moon at all. Knockoff going to come off, and that's Ogerpon gone.
Yeah, now Wild Charge seems real scary to me. I don't think Bleakwind Storm is going to take out enough Iron Hands even with it.
And here comes Wild Charge. It's not enough to knock out the Tornadus. It's going to take Rocky Helmet damage and recoil. He needs a big amount of critical hits to get back in this game. It does double connect. It does get one critical hit in the Roaring Moon, but that's unfortunately not a knockout. And unfortunately, I think that's Abhyu gonna probably see his top cut dreams come to an end right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, one more turn of Tailwind. Abhyu never did set up Tailwind. You can protect out, you know, wait out one more turn of it, but I think it would take quite a lot to be able to Bleakwind Storm both of these. That's assuming it hits even.
Yeah, this is just not good at all for Abhyu. He's been controlled this entire game from this Roaring Moon, Iron Hands, and Goldengo combination, which honestly looks really suppressive to Abhyu right now. A knockoff gonna finish it off. Arnie gonna take the win 2-0, and that likely secures him a top 8 spot in this MSS.
Yeah, that was a really impressive performance by Arnie. I was really impressed. You know, game 1, he definitely had the answer with that Clef Fairy. In game 2, he had a very different answer, very offensive. You know, make that Goldengo boost it up. And I was a little curious about the choice to let Goldengo go down. But you know what? I think he had the right choice there. Clearly worked out for him.
Yeah, maybe we're going to see more at this Roaring Moon booster energy control with breaking swipe, knockoff, and Tailwind, you know. It doesn't look that awful, especially with that speed booster. You know, maybe you can still outspeed Pokemon with a speed booster, even with Tailwind up.
Yeah, knockoff is real nice when people have important items, and I think that's underrated. You know, it does a lot of damage, and often it's just the dark move of choice for Pokemon, because it is the most damage that they can do with a dark move. But that ability to knock off important items can come in real handy sometimes.
Yes, it does, and ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for our Swiss round. So when we come back from this another break here, we're gonna have top 8 coming in as soon as we get the results up, and I hope to see you all there because we're gonna have a lot of these hopefully closer battles because we have a loaded amount of talent coming into this battle.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what this top cut brings. Yeah.
We'll be right back.